Well, the game of football has taught me so many things, man. Now, think about the huddle we have right now, right? I tell people this all the time. There's a reason why they call it a huddle. People have been huddling all their lives, trying to find ways to enhance each other's lives. The great teams do that all the time. The great teams do that. The better the huddle, the better the team. And so it's simple, man, how if you huddle for all the right reasons, we wouldn't have Ferguson. We wouldn't have some of the challenges that we have in our society. But as we all know, there's always a moment when somebody doesn't belong in the huddle. And yet we have to continue to move on. We got to continue to play. So the game of life, man, is always starting with the huddle. And for me, I'm lucky enough to know that, by the graces of God, man, it's been a nice huddle. It's been a nice huddle. And if I just keep making sure that he's in front of me, I'm gonna be all right.
Welcome to another edition of Talking Ball with the Czar. I'm Emory Hunt, the Czar of the Playbook, here on the campus of the College of the Holy Cross. The Crusaders with new head football coach Bob Chesney. Coach, I appreciate you taking time.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're here, man. Really
Success has followed you everywhere, man, from Assumption to Salve Regina or Salve Regina to Assumption, downtrodden programs. You get in there, you quickly turn both programs around. Hadn't had a losing season as a head coach. How have you been able to strike success in places that haven't seen it so often?
I think the word downtrodden is maybe a little harsh because I don't think it was necessarily the case. There was really good players there, really good environment, great atmosphere, and they wanted to win. I think often you just get stuck in a little bit of a rut, and sometimes a change just is the catalyst you need to spark a change. And I think that's just it. For me, it can't ever just be about one person. It can't be about me. It can't be about any one player on our team. It has to be about all of us, and we all have to be interested in taking that step in the right direction. Alignment is a strong word that I think we talk quite a bit about. I want to make sure everybody believes in the mission and believes in what we're doing and believes the way we're doing it is the right way. And then they all have to buy in and all fight for it. So that's really it. And then the other thing I think is alignment, but also empowerment, making sure that it's not just me, it's not just my ideas, but it's all of our ideas. And if you were a player on our team as a freshman and you had an idea that you thought could help this team, this door's open, and I'm going to be listening to that idea. We're going to make sure that it doesn't ever come off as just one person's ideas. We want everybody to be invested and everybody to be empowered, and I think then you can make a change.
You've gone from Division III, Johns Hopkins, you started as an assistant, and you go from Division II to now D1, FCS D1 at Holy Cross. What made this opportunity the best one for you?
Well, I'm in town, right? So I've been living here for the past 5 years. That's something. There became a little bit of a comfort here for me as far as understanding the city, understanding the passion that this blue-collar town has for football. And from a distance, I've admired Holy Cross quite a bit. I feel like I've met a lot of people in town that have either played here or gone to school here, and their pride for Holy Cross is really second to none. They talk about bleeding purple, and it's true. That is certainly something that they don't just say, but they really do mean. The passion that the alumni base has for this school is pretty powerful. So that was something that was certainly attractive, to me. Just recently, Mark Duffner was back here. This office is named after him, he's the coach at Tampa Bay as the linebackers coach, but he was the head coach here when we had, I think, an undefeated season and the year before with one loss or something along those lines. But at one point, this was the best program in all of 1AA. At that point, 1AA college football, this was the best program. So to think about that, and then to see the commitment that the school has made, that the administration has made, there's a strong interest to get back to that level, and not just to be good in our league, but to be good on a national level, and to be back to being one of the best, if not the best. And I think when you see $100 million facility, the indoor, the weight room that rivals that of NFL teams, those are things to me that, that is, they're very serious about that. And that's something that I'm very serious about as well. So that was that alignment of what they had hoped for, was to be not only good, but to be great, and then eventually to possibly become the best, is what I've always felt like I've wanted the opportunity to be a part of.
Because a lot of young coaches, don't know when and where to take the leap or take that chance. Do I stay what I have now, stay with the devil I know, or do I take another challenge?
Yeah,
but
right.
Did that challenge also entice you to take this opportunity?
Yeah, this one's different. There's some support. When I initially went to Salve, there wasn't a whole lot there, and I read about Urban Meyer talking to Lou Holtz, and the Bowling Green job had opened, and Urban Meyer had never been a head coach before, and he went and interviewed and got the job, and he said to Lou Holtz, I just don't think it's a good job. And Lou Holtz said, of course it's not. If they're giving it to you, you've never been a head coach before. If they're giving it to you, it's not a good job. That's how I felt with, initially when we had gone to Salve. There were many obstacles. The field wasn't on campus. We practiced and played at a middle school. There's no locker rooms. There's a lot there that to think about what we were able to do, become a top 20 team in a short period of time, is remarkable. And then I think the next phase is, to Assumption, where there wasn't great support initially, and then it got much, much better as we began to win. The support's here, and I think that's the difference. So when I go back to sort of answer the question, you have to have the belief in yourself, right? First and foremost. And I think we've all been part of programs, and I've hoped that we've paid close attention to what the head coach is doing. We've paid close attention to the words he's using, to what he says in meetings, how he runs his meetings, how he sees the whole big picture. And then I think if we have it the right way, and the right guys on our staff, they should be looking and critiquing things I'm doing and thinking, if I ever become a head coach, I'd do this different or do that different. I've been blessed to be around my father, who was a longtime high school football coach for 30-some years. Was born into this profession, and I think that's the thing for me that I've always, just tried to learn from every head coach. So yes, is it the job, or is it the person, that comes with a entire program in mind? And you hope that it's one that, they've thought long and hard about, and that they don't just rush and jump into, and when you have your program in place, and I'm talking from recruiting to weight room to, on the field to, how you deal with players in crisis or going through some sort of thing at home. Those are all things that have to be well thought out, and you don't want to be caught off guard by any of those things. But if you can have a plan in place, I think you could win just about anywhere. And I think as long as you do it together, that you all you say what the mission is, and then we all agree that that's what we want to do. My job is just to merely keep people, in line, not really a whole lot more than that. It's their job to go out and fight every day. It's their job to go out and produce every day. I'm very, very little do I have to do with these teams winning. It's when the team understands it's them that needs to do it. That's when it all works.
You touched on it a little bit about the tradition here, and how at one point this was the premier program in the FCS. I feel like this is a sleeping giant. I mean, you have the Orange Bowl game, you have Gordy Lockbaum, you also had Bill Omansky, Bob Cousy went here, played basketball here. So this place is significant to a lot of people. And how important is that tradition, and also how important is tradition to you, and how you did that to get that to the team?
Yeah. So I think when you're in a place that hasn't had it, you're trying to create it all the time. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out ways to market your program. You're trying to figure out ways to promote your program. You're trying to figure out ways to get people to believe in what you believe you're about to do, but it's never been done before, right? So who should believe and why? Here, it's been done before. There's people that believe wholeheartedly in what it means to be a Crusader. That's not the issue. The issue is, how do we give them something to believe in again and to be proud of again? That's our job. But that's the easier of them all, because that's where, again, you can unite with your group. We can go to battle with our guys on a day-to-day basis, and we can hold each other accountable and really, do our best to at least represent this program in the right way. You don't want to talk about wins and losses, the deal. You want to talk about the process, and the process is a day-to-day process that we have to talk about holding each other accountable. And I think the three things we look to: attention to detail, a positive attitude, and urgency. Those 3 things in every single thing that we do. If we do those 3 things, we have a pretty good chance of being successful in whatever it is that we do. So the culture and the history, that's something here that the foundation's there, right? It's how do we, get this house back, built up the right way again, because that's what's just been missing a little bit over the past couple of years. So we'll get there, but I think that part of it is certainly attractive, and it makes it just all a little bit easier when you have people that have been there before. This isn't new to Holy Cross. They've been there before. Now it's a matter of us getting back there.
One thing I like about your squads, Coach, back watching you at Assumption, was that they were aggressive.
Yeah.
Attack mode on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
We're going to go, we're going to work touchdown to check down. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be physical. Defense, we're going to be in your mouth. Press, we're going to blitz. We're going to be in attack mode the entire game. That's hard to just jump start. And some people say we're going to be aggressive on game day, but that honestly starts at practice in the weight room. How are you able to get that mindset over to your team and have it carry over to the game?
Well, you just said it, right? It's going to be coming from the weight room. It's going to be coming from practice. We're talking quite a bit about that right now with our team, is that when you're starting to build your mentality right now, right? We're not going to play until September, right? We're not going to actually, be in a game until September. So realistically speaking, you can't win or lose a game until September. That's when it'll come out in the wash. But I think for us is every single day we have to mentally prepare for a game. If it's in the weight room, when you walk in there a certain way. You go about your business a certain way. When it's out to a conditioning session, you walk onto that field, it becomes a very different thing, and I think that's what these guys need to understand, and I think they are beginning to understand. You don't lift weights one way, practice a different way, and then go and play this way that you did none of these other things, and you're just going to go play that way. It doesn't happen that way, right? It happens in what we do every single day, and that's the stuff to me that again with Chris Grotsky and our strength and conditioning center, which you could go check out after this, we're very much aligned together, and we believe in those same exact things. So every minute that we're spending with these guys is spent with a lot of urgency and a lot of attention to detail, a very positive attitude, but attacking, right? Attacking every little thing that we're charged with. We have to attack it, and that's what I think we're getting at with these guys. So we'll figure that out. That hopefully game day should be just a product of your day-to-day, right? That's what game day should be. By the time you get to the game, that's pretty much decided by then. As coaches, sure, we can influence it a little bit one way or the other, but it's really what did our guys do leading up to this moment, because we're standing on the sideline as coaches. It's on them at that point in time. So it's a matter of, did we prepare them properly? Do we put them in every situation they could possibly be in so that they could execute with confidence, which then leads to this different style of play when you watch it, and there's a different aggression because they're confident in what they're doing. So that's day to day. That's every single day we do anything related to football. It all has to have that attack mode, that confidence, that urgency. All those things have to be in it, and we talk an awful lot about that.
Coach, when you travel around town, and you read the internet, all you hear is, man, when we're going to play Boston College? When we're going to play Boston College, right? When we're going to restart that rivalry.
Yeah.
And now that it's back on the schedule,
yeah,
that's a big game in this area. How important is that rivalry, and how excited are you to be a part of it for the first time in some time?
Yeah, I think very excited to be a part of it. To be honest, we win that game or lose that game, it doesn't have a whole lot of ramifications towards us, reaching our goal of winning the conference and making it to the playoffs. But at the same time, it is something that is steeped in tradition, and there's a whole book written about it, and I've had a chance to read that. My father's read it. We talk about the notes and everything that come with it. So those are the things to me that when I look at that, there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there that I think brings our alumni, brings our community, and brings the whole Northeast together in a very different way. So it's awesome. It's very, we're excited to be there. But in the end, the game in number 1 against Colgate in week 1 is much more important. The game as we get down into Lehigh and Lafayette and all the other teams that we play in the Patriot League, those are significantly more important in the grand scheme of things than the BC game. The BC game, though, is awesome to be back on the schedule. We're very excited to be able to compete against those guys, and I think it shows a commitment from our administration to not only say, that to talk about wanting to be the best, but actually schedule it then, build it, put the building up if you want to be the best, and then recruit the best student athletes that you possibly can. That's talking about being the best, and that's really a true sign and indication of our desire to be there.
I can just tell by sitting here with you that you have a ton of passion for football, and it's something that you can't fake.
Yep.
It's genuine.
Yep.
What is it about the game that you love the most?
Well, I think, I've been a part of it forever. From the day I was born. I was born on August 10th in 1977. My father was a high school football coach at that moment, and I've just every Friday and Saturday of my life has had it in it. But that's those 10 weeks, 11 weeks, 12 weeks during the season. What this game does, I think, for young men, is just the growth that you have and the true beginning to understand who you are through trial and tribulation, right? That's where you learn from. You don't learn from it being easy. You learn from it being difficult, and there's not many sports that are more difficult than this one. The game itself, it's not like soccer or basketball where there's one body type that will be successful in it. It covers and gives confidence to a lot of different people and gives them a place and a position to play. There's just about, you name any body type out there, there's a place on the football field for them. And I think that ability to bring that together and not have all just one type of person, like you may see in some other sports, is what I think sets us apart. I just think, there's just so many great life lessons from this. And I think, again, through the struggle, through the difficult, nature of this game, you really do develop and form bonds that are way different, I think, than any other sport out there. And I'm a football coach saying it, so obviously I'm very biased towards that, but I do really believe that. If I was coaching another sport, I think I'd still look at football and say, it's just different. It's very, very different. And I think, to me, that's what makes it so great. And I couldn't imagine, not having it in my life. I couldn't imagine not being a part of these young men's lives either. I think these are transformative times of their life, and when they start to play it at a decently high level, I think it gives you a pretty good opportunity to, again, learn a lot about yourself and better prepare you for life after football.
Coach, I feel like nowadays the world is small. With the internet,
Sure.
we could watch games from anywhere. So kids are now making more informed choices, and they're going to different places that back growing up we only saw Florida State, Miami, Notre Dame on TV.
That's right.
And now everyone's playing somewhere. So students have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Why would a student athlete choose Holy Cross?
I think the desire to be the best, right? So you're going to hear it quite a bit, this 4 for 40, right? Don't make a 4-year decision, make a 40-year decision. And it's very true. Here, you're talking about one of the best schools academically in the country, right? But then you're talking about this alumni base within the football world here at Holy Cross. This alumni base is second to none, literally second to none. And I think that's the thing that really sets us apart. How involved they are in our current team's lives through our mentorship program to try to make sure these guys leave college and are set up with jobs and set up for their future. That's the thing that's impressive to me. I've been, as soon as we were hired, I was in Charlotte, Chicago, I've been out to New York City, out to Boston, and I've met so many alums that they're in very, cool positions of prominence, in their industries. And they all say, I have not had one job that is not a direct, connection to someone from Holy Cross. That's the difference. We just take care of each other. That's what I felt from it. So that's talking about the 40, right? When you talk about that 40. Let's rewind and now talk about the 4, because I think, these guys at 17, 18 years old, unfortunately, they're going to make, 4-year decision. They might make a next month decision based on the colors of the uniform, and if you're a Nike school or Adidas school, just crazy things, right? But when it comes down to it, the truth is, or am I preparing my next 40? And I think here there is no question, right? At an elite level, the top whatever percent out there we could talk about is where we are as far as preparing them for the next 40. But the 4, not all 4 are the same, right? Not all 4 are exactly the same. And I think that's the thing that's of interest to me is, again, just the desire to be the best is what I hope our guys look at. Anybody that is attracted to here, I hope they're looking and saying, well, I have a desire to be the best. Probably playing one of the toughest schedules in all of FCS. I think without overreaching, I think that's the case. We play BC this year, Navy, Syracuse next year, back to BC, then Maryland coming up on the schedule. Then it just doesn't get any easier. We have a bunch of year contract right now with Harvard and with Yale both. Those are the things to me that are really, really important. If they want to be the best, they can be the best academically, they can be the best at preparing themselves for 40 years, but then they come here and they're playing a schedule unlike any other, in facilities unlike any other, with technology and technological advances unlike any other. If we went through some of those things that we're doing here to keep these guys safe and to also make sure that we're able to get the most out of them, from the GPSs that we have in their shoulder pads to the mouthpieces that register concussive and subconcussive hits, to the helmet protectors that we have on top, to the weight room things that we have, to all the list goes on and on and on. Well, they're here. You could go just about anywhere you'd like and look up and see what those players have, and these guys probably have it. From a major FBS level, we probably have it, right? And I think that's the thing for me that will happen in year 4, and at the same time preparing you big time for that 40 after. So you can have the best of all of it. I think a lot of times as coaches, we're going to look at a player and we're going to say, yeah, we like him, but his speed is not great, but we'll still take him. But you make a lot of concessions, right? And I think as players looking at colleges, they make a lot of concessions. Yeah, I love the academics. Not a great schedule, but right. I love the academics. Or I love the football. Not great academically, but I really do like the football. I think here for us, we have all of it, right? You don't have to make any concessions. You don't have to relent on anything that they want. They want to be the best academically. They want to prepare themselves best for 40 years later. You got it. You also want to have a pretty good run for 4 years and play one of the best schedules and some of the best facilities with some of the best technology while you got it, right? You have everything that you could possibly want here, and I think that's what sets us apart. And let's not forget that, back in the 80s, we were the best, the absolute best that was out there. That's something that, we will continue to talk about, and we'll continue to make sure our guys understand and people joining us understand, because you say those words out loud, well, now here comes the challenge, and here comes the day-to-day commitment that has to go into it. This won't be for everybody, but at the same time, for those that it will be for, we're gonna have a pretty good shot at doing something in a major way here over these next couple of years. So I'm proud to be here, excited to be here, and I think when people have a chance to look at our school, I think they find that same thing. They don't have to make a lot of concessions or relent on a lot of their dreams. Just like we hope when we look at those players, we don't have to do either. So we're on the brink of something I think really special here. It's a pivotal moment in this program's history, and the chance for us to get back to the top really starts now. So I think that's a challenge that a lot of guys will hear and a lot of guys will answer, and I think it will also scare some people away, and that's fine too, right? We need to find those guys that want to be here for the right reasons and for the mission that we lay out there, and we'll find them, and we'll continue to move on and build this program back to a position of prominence.
Coach, you definitely sold me. I'm ready to go suit it up. But this is great because, I'm a traditionalist. I love seeing programs get back to where they once were. You're the guy that's going to take charge and get them to where they need to be, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for making the trip, and thank you for all you do as well for this great sport. It's awesome.
No problem.